Hi, so have you been playing with crystals a little bit? I hope so. So this is a video to introduce you to what I call my top 12. And that comes with a huge disclaimer because even to choose 12 felt like an impossible task for me. I almost want to say, here's my top 12 and my other 10 and just my bonus 5 because there are so many crystals that I adore. But this is a set of crystals that I have repetitively worked with and have been instrumental for me in terms of my own spiritual journey and my own spiritual growth. And so we'll present them to you. I might add in a few extras just as we go along. So there is a handout, a download that you can print out if you want to. If you want to pause this video now, you can go and download this to make notes on. And this is a list of the top 12 that I'm going to be talking about. And I'm really going to introduce you to each crystal and tell you how to use it and what it can do. And I may, in time, add some other videos around other crystals that I love because it's just such a cool thing to start with. So I'm going to start off with clear quartz. And if there's a crystal that is a useful tool for everything, it's clear quartz. So here's some of my clear quartz. So this would be a clear quartz cluster. Yeah. This is also a clear quartz. It's a beautiful piece. I'm going to talk about each of these a little bit and give you some input into them and teach you a bit about crystals as we go along with it. And you get clear quartz, this would be a clear quartz pointer. So now you're going to start seeing some of the difference between some of the sort of smokiness and the very clear quartz. I hope you can see it on the video, okay. So that's a pointer. And then I showed you this in the other video as well. There's this clear quartz point, and this is what we'll call a record keeper, which I'll talk about now. And here, just for another version of what clear quartz can look like, this is a beautiful geode clear quartz. Now, clear quartz is an amplification crystal. So it's the crystal that helps amplify energy. So if I had to look at something like this pointer, this is a beautiful crystal, and you get pointers that have got one side points, or this is what we call a double terminated pointer. It's got points on both sides. Now, if I had to use any of these in the crystal grids I'm going to talk about tomorrow, if I take any crystal and I surround it with clear quartz pointers, I'm amplifying the energy field, because clear quartz is an amplification tool. It expands energy. So it really is and can be programmed to expand anything. I can program this to be for more love. So when I'm talking about program, holding my hand and saying the intention of this is to bring in more love or more abundance or more. Whatever more you want, it's a crystal for more. And it's a power crystal. So it's a crystal that amplifies power and brings us back to harmonious power. In the world at the moment, we've got a lot of power distortions where people are using power for abuse. This brings us back to simple power and harmonious power. If we used a pointer, if I point it towards me, then the energy is going in. If I'm pointing it away from me, the energy is going out. If I point it down, so the pointer, you can see, starts to become something for channeling the energy and where it's going. Now, when we've got something as beautiful as this cluster has got all these points. So this is beautiful to have in a room because it's really showering out energy to all the various points in the room. And this brings in sort of cleansing, clearing, powerful energy throughout the room. We get this crystal, so this is a bigger double terminated crystal. And I really want to bring your awareness to the clear and the cloudy parts. So the clear part is masculine energy and the cloudy part is feminine energy. And so clear quartz is a very powerful crystal to be using for integration and wholeness, to bring us to balance around our masculine and our feminine energy. And when you find crystals, this one is not one of my favorites, and I don't have one of my other ones here, that's actually quite halved, and it's got very masculine, or very feminine, very masculine energy in it. Very powerful for healing. So to meditate with a crystal, you could lie with it on you and meditate with it. You could simply hold it in your hand, and it's going to activate and work with that blending of your masculine and feminine energy. Now, I spoke very briefly around this crystal, which is really very beautiful. If you can see, there's some phantoms in it. So you can see there's like a phantom inside there. You can see the rainbows. If I can get the right lighting. Rainbows always sort of, there's light inside the crystal, you can see over there. And then there's this thing here, which is, if I get it the right light, you'll see it's an indentation, but it's a triangle. And a triangle in a crystal is called a record keeper. And the record keeper is essentially holds akashic information from the past. When you meditate on, you put your thumb on it, and you meditate with that, information and wisdom comes forward. The crystal has information for you, either from your akashic records or from someone else's. Again, I'm giving you very, very high-level information. All of this we can go to in great amounts of detail. And also, when you look at these crystals, the different points have information. So this is natural. This is how it comes out of the earth. Some crystals are polished and some are raw. I'll show you what I mean with that when I talk about labradorite just now. You'll see. So you can start to see just by working with clear crystals, with clear quartz, how much information we've started to be exposed to already in there. Clear quartz is also a very beautiful crystal for massaging. So if you're somebody who's into massage therapy or wanting a relaxation tool, if you do reflexology, you get beautiful flat clear quartz crystals. You get them in rose quartz and that as well, and you hold them in your hand whilst you massage. So it's almost like cupped in your hand here, and you massage with it, and it's such a beautiful, beautiful experience. So that is clear quartz. We're going to move just around to the right. So I'm just going to go in a clockwise fashion on the piece of paper. So black tourmaline. So again, if you remember, we've got the spectrum of black to white crystals, the absorber and the reflector. So this creates amplifiers and this absorbs. So these crystals, this is a big piece, and here's a small piece of black tourmaline. These have got mica in it. Mica is a mineral, and it's a mineral known for riches, so it's very beautiful to have. So black tourmaline is a very powerful protection crystal. If you are wanting to have a crystal on your desk to absorb energy, this would be the crystal for it. If you're wanting a crystal in a room to absorb negative energy, not that that really exists, but denser energy, it absorbs it. So it absorbs it and it transmutes it and releases it for you. Very beautiful crystal to wear if you're in a work environment that you perceive as negative. It can help absorb anything so that it doesn't get attached to you, and your energy field can stay clear. So whilst it's absorbing, it's cleaning. It's like this vacuum cleaner of denseness and negativity. Profound crystal for grounding, so bringing you to your earth body and holding you in your body. So whereas this may amplify and clear and energize you, and even as I put these together, you're going to feel the difference. And see if you can, as I hold up the crystal, feel it in your own energy field. And so you can start to see how beautiful this column of tourmaline is. Okay. If you ever doing work around clearing out of houses, or you remember when we were talking about spring cleaning and energy to clearing out your house, these are very powerful stones. I have a piece about half the size in front of my television, so that it absorbs all those electromagnetic rays, powerful to put in your kitchen. And if you're wanting to clear out or bless your home, putting 4 pieces of black tourmaline on your doorway, so taking press stick and you put them on the 4 door points of the door, and charge them that only that which serves your highest good comes in, and negativity leaves with people when they leave. So you can have your doorways become charged with this beautiful tourmaline energy. So that's tourmaline. The next one is still a tourmaline, but it's a watermelon tourmaline. I haven't got a large piece of this, so I'm going to show you. I hope you can see. Yeah, you can. So this is a piece of watermelon tourmaline, and this is also a piece of watermelon tourmaline. So you can see watermelon tourmaline comes in different colors, and there's also greens in them. This is a bracelet I have of watermelon tourmaline, and you can see all the different colors that watermelon tourmaline is in: pinks, greens, blues, yellows, oranges, and it's all in one piece. And so if you have a look at the picture that's there, is often when you slice it down the middle, it's got colors that radiate from the center out. Now, watermelon tourmaline, if I had to hold it up, you will start to get a feeling from it. It's very playful. It's a very joyful energy. And so watermelon tourmaline is a beautiful energy to wear just for lightening up excitement, joy, playfulness, bringing yourself to a sense of childhood innocence and enjoyment in terms of what is happening for you in your life. It's also a very powerful tool for manifestation, because manifestation is actually quite an easy and joyful process, and tourmaline helps us with that. Have a look how cool that one is. You can see the black inside it. Yeah. They're pretty, hey? Gosh, we can sit for hours. Oops, oh, break my computer in that process. Okay, so that's watermelon tourmaline, all about joy and pleasure and excitement. And when we've been talking about that and laughter and relaxation, we'll be talking about it more. And you can see how different crystals can help you with different energies, different frequencies. Okay, so next is one of my beauties. I showed you this in the last video. This is called seraphinite. Now, seraph, it connects with the seraphim, which is the highest form of angels. And so this is an angelic stone, a beautiful master healing stone, and very expensive in many ways. If you can find a nice piece for a good price, I would really recommend it. And if you have a look at it, it looks like angels' wings that are on this piece. It's the only one I have yet to show you. Look at that. Look, 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 look. Isn't that beautiful? Seraphinite is a very high ascension stone. It's a kind of stone that's going to take you out, so you do need to be able to be grounded afterwards or whilst you're doing it. So sometimes it's really useful to wear black tourmaline, or have a piece of black tourmaline, or tiger's eye, or any of the stones that you like to use for grounding. Remember, I'm introducing to many stones about raising your frequency, but grounding is really important too. And seraphinite, if you're wanting to work with the angelic realm, if you're wanting to connect with any of the archangels or your guardian angel, or any part of the realm of angelic love and support, then this is the crystal for you. Oh, she's gorgeous, hey? Look at those wings. When I channel with her, there are always beautiful messages from divine grace, faith, wisdom, love, unconditional love. So that is seraphinite. And that takes me to one of my absolute favorites. I've got so many pieces of this because I can just never stop buying it. And this is called labradorite. And I'm hoping that you're going to be able to pick up the color changes that happen. This is labradorite's heart. So labradorite is, again, it's a magical stone. It's a stone of alchemy. Look there, it catches the light from the window. It's a stone of alchemy and magic, and it's a stone, it's like a light worker's stone to support reigniting the magic in you. It's also got healing properties. It's got mysterious, mystical. So looking beyond the obvious to what is the mystical behind it. This is another piece of labradorite I've got, and this is a beautiful piece to show you. Look how it's got all those. Oh gosh, you see. I just love it. I hope you love it as much as I do. I spoke about polished and raw crystals. So this side of the labradorite here is polished, and if I turn it around, you'll see that's the raw side. So this is what it's like when it comes out of the ground, and then it's been polished up to look like that. So this is now a really beautiful piece. Whenever you get a crystal that's got both the raw and the polished, it's the process of alchemy, it's the process of refinement, the process of coming from what's, finding your inner beauty, finding your inner grace, being able to share that with the world. So this is a really, really gorgeous stone crystal to work with for elevating consciousness and bringing perspective. So that is labradorite. Okay, so next we have selenite. So selenite, you will typically find selenite looking like this. This is what we call a selenite wand. You also get shaped ones, so this would be a wand that has been shaped. I'm not sure if you can see it on here. It's like a spiral. And then this is a selenite sphere. So it can sometimes be mistaken for clear quartz, but it's got a very different feel to it. It's much softer, and it's always got this flaky sort of feel to it. So this is not one that you're going to run in water, because it's going to have this flakiness. Now, if you imagine, and I've spoken around your chakras and that light coming into your crown chakra, and then the column of light going through each chakra, and you're starting to activate that column of light. If I had to hold this in front of me, this is the column of light. So this is a master clearer for all chakras. If you're wanting to work on activating the column of light in you and elevating yourself to it, this is very powerful for that. Now, I don't have my piece here with me, but you can use selenite ones, and you can take a hot glue gun and you can glue other crystals onto it to help activate the clearing. So if you had to take the crystals that are on the page that you downloaded for the chakras, I could put a red stone here for the base chakra, orange, sacral, heart, throat, third eye, crown, and put those stones onto here with a hot glue gun, and this then becomes a wand of light for every chakra, and it amplifies those crystals, and it's a very powerful tool to use for healers and healing modalities. I've got one, it's not one I can easily access here, but I've glued on what are called the 12 ascension stones. The 12 ascension stones are sort of new age stones or crystals that have come forward, like moldavite, which I'll talk about, danmarite, phenacite, and a number of others. I have included an attachment of the ascension stones for you. So this is a selenite wand. These are also very powerful. Tomorrow I'm going to talk about crystal grids, and to activate a grid, to connect all the stones together, when you use a wand and you connect them all together. Selenite is an activation stone, and beautiful in that. And the different shapes stones, it's useful to know that different shapes just give off different energy fields. So obviously a sphere gives this perfect round sphere around it. If I'm using a pyramid, then it's pointed. So when I use a pointer crystal, it's more pointed. And so different shapes give different energy fields, and you'll play around with that and can work with that a bit. The next stone is quite an expensive stone, so watch out for it and see if you can find a piece of it. And this is called zinsite. And it's actually a stone of alchemy. It actually grows from a combination of natural resources and man-made implementation. It's not a man-made stone, it grows naturally, but it's in the sort of mines where there's been activation from man. And zinsite, it grows in these beautiful little sort of formations. It looks like coral almost. And it's got all these little points on it. I'm not sure if you can see, but there's all these little points. This is a stone of manifestation and a very powerful stone for creativity. So if you want to create your future, you're wanting to make what you want come alive, Zinsite is it's like this furnace of power. It's like this, it looks like fire, and it is fire. I have this on my desk next to some labradorite, of course, and some calcite. Calcite is a master clearer, and so the connection of creativity and clearing, so clearing my path for me to create my future with magic, being the alchemist of the labradorite. So that is Zinsite, just to show you. This is a Zinsite pendant that I have, and you can see this is a very rare sort of way I've been able to get Zinsite. It's quite a big point. So essentially it's one of these points, and to get a big point like this is not so easy. Let's see if I hold it differently. Real magical stones to wear. And this is polished Zinsite that has been made into a bracelet. So you can see the fire energy in it. You can see the energy. This is ruby, by the way, if you're wondering what's in my ring there. Okay, so this is Zinsite. Cool, hey? Cool, cool, cool. Right. If you're getting bored, you can always pause and come back later, but I could talk about crystals forever. Moldavite, and I sadly couldn't find my other piece of Moldavite. Again, this is a very, very expensive crystal. So you can work, remember, with the crystal angels around it if you don't have it. Moldavite, this is my Moldavite pendant. And I want to see if I can get, because it's almost, if you can get the light on it, you'll see it's almost clear green in places. I'm not sure if you can see there. It's actually like this clear green, but it's dark. The Moldavite is actually where a, what's it now? Oh, the words lost me. I can see it. I'll tell you now. It's where an asteroid has hit Earth, and the calcification of where the asteroid hit Earth has resulted in this very beautiful stone called Moldavite. Very rare and very expensive and running out, so it's not in huge supply, and so that's why it is so expensive. I'm trying to see if you can see the greenish color of it. Moldavite is a high ascension stone. It links you to the planets beyond Earth and takes you to seeing things from a completely different perspective. It is the kind of crystal some people do not like to work with. It activates very strongly, and when many people start working with Moldavite, they get what is called a Moldavite flush. So it's like your heart beats faster, and you can even get quite hot flushes, headache, palpitations, that sort of thing. So it's not the kind of crystal to start working with for hours at a time. It's worth working with in small doses, and depending on your ability to handle high frequencies. It's not the kind of stone, so this is a pendant, I wear it, but it's not the kind of stone that everybody likes to wear. It's not right or wrong, it's not good or bad, it doesn't make you better or worse. It's just the awareness of what works for you and where your body is and what energy and frequency you can have. Moldavite, when you work with Moldavite, it's a ruthless teacher. It clears out your path. So it is really, if you want transformation in your life, you work with Moldavite. It's the one that's going to help you clear out stuff and work forward. Right, then one of my absolute favorites is Moonstone, and as I was getting ready, I realized I don't have a big piece of white moonstone. So this is a moonstone pendulum, and you can see moonstone's this white with this blackish grey energy, and it here's a little piece of moonstone. Again, I'm showing you all different pieces so you can start to get an awareness of how crystals come in different forms. Moonstone is a very feminine stone, obviously links to the moon energy, the lunar energy, so opens up the causal chakra, which is a 5D chakra, which is a connection to the stars and the stellar gateway. This is a piece called a black moonstone. They are not easy to get, very rare. They normally come as the white moonstone. This is again, black is going to be more of an absorber and white more of a transmitter. But in the moonstone, both just take you to transmitting into the sort of stellar gateway sort of side, and this universal consciousness, this universal kind of energy. Beautiful stone for awakening the divine feminine, bringing the goddess energy into your life, working at integrating all of those sorts of things. So that is moonstone. The next one I have here for you is petrified wood. This is my petrified wood sphere. I don't have my other piece here. Sorry, I wanted to bring up, but I don't. Petrified wood is exactly that. It's trees, ancient trees that have been calcified and have formed crystalline structures. So this compacted. And when you get a piece that has cut through, you can often see the rings of wisdom from the trees. And as a tree grows, it has these rings that cut out. And petrified wood is this amazing stone of ancient wisdom. Beautiful stone for grounding. It connects you to the earth and brings you straight to the wisdom of Mother Earth. It brings you to an ancestral kind of feeling. What's the ancestry of the world, of yourself, of your family, of your genetics? It holds the stories of what has happened in the earth, and is it is also a clearing agent. It helps clear out past hurts and gives you the perspective of why things happened and how things can clear out. So that is petrified wood. Then we've got, what's next? Smoky quartz. So just 2 more to go. I hope that this is entertaining for you. So this is smoky quartz. This is actually clear. You should be able to see through it on the level. And this is my smoky quartz ball. Sphere. I call them balls, but I shouldn't. So you can see, look how many beautiful things are inside there. Smoky quartz is again a clearing stone and a grounding stone, helps you bring to perspective, and it can shield your energy. So this is a crystal that I use in my room for me and my clients, so that your energy is your energy. So those of you that want to work on boundaries, remember when we're talking about boundaries and assertiveness, smoky quartz is a great crystal to help you find your own boundary and to put shields around yourself. Beautiful for emitting a love of no. What I mean by that is, like, when you love yourself enough, you can say no. There's an assertiveness, and smoky quartz can help with bring that assertiveness to play. Okay, so there we go. Smoky quartz, gorgeous, eh? Oh, they're so pretty. All right, and then last but not least, it would be one that we probably could have started with. It's rose quartz, and rose quartz is a crystal that is probably the most accessible. And if I had to tell anybody where to start, I'd always say start with a rose quartz, not the stars. Smoky quartz, amethyst, which I haven't spoken about as a spiritual connection stone, and citrine, which I don't have here. But that would be my starting point. Rose quartz, smoky quartz, clear quartz, amethyst, and citrine. If I had to start with my basic 5 crystals that you want to start working with, it would be those. I'll say it again: smoky quartz, clear quartz, rose quartz, citrine, and amethyst. So this is a rose quartz. This is a raw rose quartz. If you have a look, this is a raw rose quartz in the corner there as well. This is a rose quartz sphere. Stone of love, of unconditional compassion and love. The stone of the heart chakra, the stone that just brings softness and gentleness and perspective to everything. I cannot think of a single grid that I do where I don't include rose quartz as an element. It is unconditional in the compassion, and given what the world needs at the moment in terms of more harmony, more compassion, more love, rose quartz is the crystal. Rose quartz you can wear completely. It is such a softening, gentling energy. It helps you speak with gentleness. It helps you act with gentleness. It helps you speak with gentleness. It is the stone that I would recommend everybody carries with them and wears as much as they can. Tomorrow we'll talk about how you use crystals, but you get small pieces of crystals, and these little tumbled stones are amazing, and they're amazing to wear on you in your pocket. I wear them in my bra, don't tell anybody. So these little crystals are phenomenal for you too, so you don't always need these big pieces like I have been showing you today. But rose quartz is the mother energy. She's the loving, nurturing, compassionate, romantic, simple energy of true love. And so that is rose quartz. So there you have it. That is my top 12 with a few others thrown in for good measure. As I said, I'll probably add some more in there. Please feel free to share what your favorites are. And if you have any questions around any crystals you've got, you're more than welcome to share there. I'll try and answer what I can. So I hope you had fun and enjoyed that as much as I did. I'll chat to you tomorrow. Namaste.